Today, we're going to talk about writing the counter-argument. Have you ever tried to convince your parents or teachers, or even friends of something? You explain reason after reason of why they should see your point of view. You think your argument is flawless, and then they come back with an argument that completely stumps you. Conversation over. This is where the counter-argument and rebuttal come in. If you had taken some time to consider their point of view, and then just a bit more time to think about how to convince them why they were wrong, not just that you were right, you might have had that higher allowance, or a night off homework. Or maybe you and your friends would have gone go-karting instead of to Paseo for the 4th night this month. To win arguments and persuade people to agree with you, you have to consider their counter-arguments. It's the same with an argumentative essay. You've spent the first 2 paragraphs telling the reader why you are right, and now it's time to tell them why the opposing viewpoint is wrong. If you forget to do this, your reader is going to start to wonder, hey, wait, what about... There are a couple of really easy ways to do this, to write the counter-argument and rebuttal paragraph. In these examples, X is the counter-argument, the other side's point of view, and Y is the author's argument, proving them wrong, the rebuttal. Here's how they look. While some people believe X, it is actually true that Y. Or, although people argue X, Y is correct. There are plenty of ways to say this, so feel free to be creative. Let's take a look at a full sentence, though, using these 2 options. While some people believe that Antarctica is the coldest place in the world, it is actually true that Miss Clark's classroom is coldest. The first part of this sentence, that Antarctica is the coldest place in the world, is the other side's point of view. It's the counter-argument. However, you, knowing better, are going to argue that Miss Clark's classroom is actually coldest. You're going to prove them wrong. And this is called the rebuttal. Let's try it another way. Although people argue that science is the most important subject, believing English to be the most important subject is correct. Again, it's the first part of the sentence. Science is the most important subject. That is the other side's point of view. It's the counter-argument. You're going to correct them and show them wrong, that believing English to be the most important subject is actually correct. That's the counter-argument. And then the rebuttal. Of course, this is just my humble opinion, but I think I might be right. Now that you've made this bold claim that the other side is seriously wrong, you have to back it up with evidence and explanations that prove just how wrong the other side is. Treat this like a regular body paragraph, but every example and explanation must relate back to the idea of proving the counter-argument wrong. Now it's your turn. Go for it.